Branciforte Middle in Wendy Thompson's classroom. Read. So here is their teacher, Wendy Thompson.
Hi, this is the second half of Branciforte Middle School's 8th grade classes, and I want to thank the other readers in advance for letting us go before this. In 2 nights we have another huge production called Voices of the West, where we also are highlighting our students' singing, dancing, and acting abilities, and movie-making abilities. So we're pretty burned out, but we're never too burned out to read. So I hope that you enjoy this from Get the Word Out.
Hi, my name is Libby D. Priest, and I'm reading Garden of Lies. My stories are not pretty ones. My stories are filled with lies and jealousy and my own selfish pride. I like to think of my lies as flowers. Over time, they grow and blossom into truths. What is truth? Some will recall memory, retold by an omniscient third being. Truth is always mutilated by lies, and while lies and truths are just ideals thrust into a pile of facts, we know when we lie. We know when we become wrought with guilt until we cannot bear it anymore. I think what made me a good liar was my stubbornness. I never caved into the guilty pain that stuck me like a needle. But dear reader, my lies are not for myself. My lies are only for you and your enjoyment.
Hello, my name is Michaela Hawley, and I will be reading an excerpt from my story, Loneliness. Kayla, you're staring at the wall again, Liz mumbled. I can't help it. This project is stupid, she sighed. Come on, do something easy for once. You can base it on love. You've got a good grade in this class, so no worries, Lynn pointed out. It's too cliche. I want to do something original, not what half this class is going to do. Kayla Allen was in her art class. It was the second to last week of the semester, and she wanted to end the 10th grade art class with a bang. The prompt was to symbolize the emotion in art. Most of the kids were doing love or something, but she wanted to do something more creative. Please, Miss Allen, please explain why your paper is blank, her teacher requested sarcastically. It isn't something that just happens. You have to have at least a general idea of what you're doing, she said. She didn't have the faintest idea of what she wanted to do.
So I'm Skylar Russell, and I'll be reading the beginning of my story called A Shining New Beginning. Okay. Sit down, children, and let me tell you a story about 2 drag queens. There were once 2 impressively fabulous drag queens. One of them was far superior as far as fabulosity goes. The other strived to be as great, but never did become as glamorous as the other. These 2 drag queens were known as Diamond Shimmers and Pinky Sparkles. These 2 had been lifelong foes, their competition dating back to when they were still inside the womb. It's rumored they couldn't stand each other, even as mere fetuses. Diamond had hated Pinky with a burning passion. Instead of being bothered, Shimmers used the majority of his energy attempting to surpass Pinky. Shimmers had many brilliant ideas for costumes he could design or dresses he could wear, though each time he stepped back and dared not attempt them. That was until the Great Velvet Unicorn competition was announced.
Hi, my name is Emily Stevens. I'm going to read a part of my story, Lucy's Roller Coaster. Another one of our long car rides full of pain and sadness. The thoughts of the good times and thinking about how my life has changed and shifted. From the day my mom died, my life has never been the same. It wasn't an expected death. She was walking home from her lunch break and was hit by a car. I remember how I found out. I was in 3rd grade. They called me into the office and my mom and dad were my dad was standing there. At that moment, I knew something was wrong. Once we stepped into the car, he told me the news. The shock of my mom's death drove me inside. I burst into tears. That morning had been like any ordinary morning, and it turned into the worst day of my life. My dad said we were moving to Washington. Probably not a good part of Washington. We always live in gross, rundown towns in our beat-up trailer. Driving through the town, listening to music on my iPod, I started looking out the window, admiring the families walking on the sidewalk with big smiles, and little kids skipping down the street. Seeing everyone's smiles get bigger when they hear the ice cream truck getting louder and louder.
Okay, my name's Ryan. I'm reading my story, Duke's Wave. Okay.
When I got the call, I was scared, nervous, and excited at the same time. I did not know how it was possible to all three emotions at once. I picked up my old house phone, and a man with a deep voice said, "I am Jerry Flink's personal assistant. Are you Carrie Flair?" "Yes," I responded in a nervous voice. He continued, "You've been selected to go on the July 1966 episode of the Jerry Flink Show. Do you want to do it?" I responded in a shy, high-pitched voice, "Sure, I'll do it." Then the man hung up. I spent the next 2 hours thinking about the Jerry Flink Show. What types of questions he's going to ask me. Surely he's going to ask me in the surf competition. A few weeks later, I found myself inside the big white stage of the Jerry Flink Show.
Hi, my name is Chloe. I'm reading from The Missing Part of It. My story is based off of a quote by an unknown author. It's normal is a setting on a washing machine. My dad died when I was 2 years old. He was in a car crash on his way home to take care of me and broke his neck. Sometimes I think it's all my fault. I guess I'm just feeling sorry for myself. Now I live in a big house with caring foster parents, John and Kathy. They supplied everything my mother never gave me. Food, clothes, and most importantly, love. Up until I was 5, I lived with my birth mother. I must have felt at home, as if I belonged. It's not like I knew any better. When I was 4 years old, I had gotten brown hair. I had brown hair the color of milk chocolate with a dash of caramel swirled around in it. My eyes were emerald green with a dash of blue, a flaw in my left eye. My skin had a tan glow to it as if I had just come out of the ocean. My father used to call me his little water baby. I learned how to swim when I was 2, back when my mother cared about me. The first time I went to the pool, I just ran and jumped right in. Of course, I didn't know how to swim, so I gagged, trying to stay above water. My mom tried to help me, but I kept yelling, "All by self, all by self."